And what it says is that in order for a man to be born, he must exit the matrix, and that he must come out of the womb. In order for any life forms to form in this third dimension, it must come through the womb. And this energetic grid that's created by this sacred geometrical figure called the flower of life literally connects every single one of us. We are all literally sitting on this grid. It's this invisible grid that we're on. One thing people don't understand is that we are all made of actual light. Well, everything in the third dimension is made of light. And so we are light and light is us. We know that the illusion of this avatar body and this chair I'm sitting on and the table that you're sitting at, the illusion of it's there. But what is this? This is slowed down light waves. When you slow light down and then consciousness interacts with it, it collapses it into what we call solid matter. So solid matter is actually an illusion. Right. For example, the only thing stopping my hand from going through this chair is the repulsion of the electromagnetic frequencies. I don't actually touch the chair. You don't touch anything. Yeah. And so if I can phase shift the atomic frequency of my hand to match the same frequency of the atoms in this chair, I pass my hand right through it because atoms are 99.999% empty space.
Like pouring liquid into liquid.
Exactly. You know, that's why when galaxies merge together, like we're merging with a galaxy right now called Sagittarius, because, you know, galaxies are mostly empty space, just like atoms. Everything's a fractal. So we are light beings, and also because of that, we're a fractal. We have consciousness, which is also light. And
what is a fractal?
A fractal is when you take, for example, if you look at a hologram, and you go to one part of the hologram, one tiny piece, and look at it, you'll see the entire image in that smallest piece. The only thing you lose is a little bit of resolution. Okay, and so it's important for people to understand that this entire realm is a fractal of a whole. In other words, as above, so below.
So if you look at an atom, it gives you the whole thing.
It gives you the whole thing, absolutely.
So human beings, would you consider a fractal of the universe?
We're a fractal of the universe, and our consciousness, even though it's one consciousness, it's also a fractal of the main master consciousness. And it's really incredible that every thought that you think in your skull, it leaves your skull as a form of a light wave. This is why quantum entanglement works. It's because we're all in that same energetic grid that is created by this flower of life. So, you know, if I take two particles or even two photons, and I utilize a laser to do something called parabolic down conversion and get them on the same frequency, I could take one of those particles to the other end of the universe, and I could change the information on the one that's local to me, and the other one at the other end of the universe will change instantaneously, bypassing the speed of light. How is that possible? It's because we're on this flower of life matrix grid, and everything literally is connected, and distance is even an illusion. So we are really living in a fractal holographic universe, and what he was trying to say is that the projection from this flower of life creates this illusion that we're operating and living in. And, you know, it doesn't mean that we're not real, but what it means is the mechanism used to create this third dimensional illusion comes and emanates, the energy emanates through that flower of life from the vesica piscis into this dimension, and along with then consciousness intervention helps slow down the frequency and vibration of the electromagnetic waves, which then give us the illusion that things are solid, things have matter, things have substance, things have distance and locality and everything else. So it's really amazing. I mean, this is an amazing, I don't call it an experiment, but it's almost like we're living inside of an experiment or a creation, just like all the ancient texts have said. For what purpose to an end? I think that the main reason why we're here is to collect information and data, because it's as above, so below. So if you take it from the below standpoint, from the human brain, encased in darkness, doesn't know what's going on the outside, says to his friends, all its five senses, hearing, smell, seeing, touch, and everything, go out there and tell me what's going on. The friends go out and collect information, bits of data. They themselves don't know exactly what they are collecting. They're just collecting information from the outside. They can't decipher it. They bring it back to the brain, which is encased in total darkness, and say, here's the data. And the brain wants to then figure out what's going on. Then it projects a hologram as to what it thinks is going on outside, and you navigate through the matrix that way. Now, you take it to the larger scale, above, the universe itself is consciousness, okay? And what has it done? And now we're one of those. We're out here collecting bits of information as we live through our life, as we navigate through this matrix, and we send that data as a stream directly back to source. so that it can experience itself subjectively from every different perspective in the third dimension. And all of this, to me, in my personal opinion, is emanating. The energy that comes into this dimension to create all of this is emanating through this flower of life, which are these electromagnetic waves, this dark energy and dark matter, which is not just because it's dark, we gave it the name dark. It's just out of our frequency of vision. It's an actual wave. All electromagnetic waves are all made of light. A lot of the times you can say, oh, I came up with this great idea.
Right.
But you really did. You just downloaded that idea because you entangled with the information. Plus, a lot of the male in this society right now, they're being emasculated.
Oh yeah, sterilized.
And so, and a lot of it's chemical based.
Yes.
It's the food.
Chemical castration.
Chemical castration, man. It's all these microplastics that are, we're inhaling them, we're eating them. It's in the food, it's in everything. They did a test on those microplastics. They were converting male frogs into women. And so it's taking away the testosterone levels in men are the lowest it's been since they've been recording.
Right.
And so to that effect, what you're saying is the levels are dropping, and the ability for men to make a lot of logical decisions is also dropping.
Right.
You see men now operating more off of emotion versus logic.
Right.
That balance of logic versus emotion isn't there anymore.
Right.
Sometimes there's a lot more men that are more emotional than women.
Yes.
So their plan is working out, and the plan for them really is to not let us discover our light body, not let us discover our light consciousness and the power that we really truly have inside of us to change and bend and mold this matrix to our will and overcome and supersede where they are.
Right.
What they want us to do is just continue to stay in these small little pockets, fighting each other over scraps, and not really ever getting to the higher levels and realizing that we're supposed to be able to bring our heaven right here to this earth right now.
When we see the negative, it stands out so big. There's so much positive going on, but it seems like the mind's always pulling. The negative seems much bigger than the positive. Even if you have one negative or two negative comments underneath a post on social media, they really stand out versus the ones that are more positive, just because I think the mind somehow is drawn to it. So I work with myself to try to figure out ways to, to combat that.
And so a lot of people think that the law of attraction only works in positivity and abundance, but that's not true. The law of attraction works in also negativity and dark energy. And, so if a person's always doing things wrong or doing wrong things, I should say, being bad, trying to hurt people, trying to injure people, whatever the case may be, dark things, all the dark thoughts, that is going to reciprocate back to them. When a person is in a state of fear, despair, hate, anger, trauma, they always seem to have more and more of that coming back at them, because the law of attraction, it works on frequencies. If it's a low frequency, the universe says, oh, give them more of this low frequency. High frequency, give them more of the high frequency. So it works in both ways. So people have to be very careful because, there's a situation, in my opinion, with karma, where if you're always focusing on the dark stuff and always doing dark or engaging in darkness, you're going to get more darkness coming at you. And that darkness, in my opinion, could supersede your lifetime in this avatar body. It could follow your spiritual energy, which is eternal. So people say, well, the person died, it's all over for them. Well, maybe not. The energy never dies. It only transforms. Is the karma tracking that spiritual energy into the next life? It's possible.
We know that energy does not die. Energy just reboots itself and reboots itself. So we are eternal. So stop panicking, thinking your life is over. You've done this trillions of times. You'll get good at it and we'll be perfect one time if we get conscious.
When I walk places, when I go places, I expect the universe to unfold for me.
Absolutely.
I expect things to open up for me and things to just happen for me when I walk into places. I can just be going to the grocery store. I'm walking everywhere I go. I'm walking in pure power. I act like I'm commanding and wielding the universe to my will. But the same power that created everything we see in this entire universe, in this multiverse, is the same power that's inside of my body. The program that he put in was so good. We're born, we're given a name, a race, and a religion, and we're basically, we grow up defending that whole identity. It's a fake identity. It's not really us. We've kind of forgotten and relinquished who we really are and given it up to this system, this this institutionalized system that was put in place thousands of years ago. You know, you're this religion, I'm this thing, or you're this light skin and I'm this dark skin. All this stuff, we gotta, you know, black men want to fight black men all the time. We want to attack each other socially now on social media because you're doing too good and I'm not doing as good as you. We gotta drop all of that. We gotta stop all of that. We gotta synchronize. We gotta realize that we're better together than apart. Not tearing each other down, fighting each other, slapping each other, all this kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
We got to come together and we got to realize, man, how can I bring a piece of the puzzle? How can you bring a piece of the puzzle? You know what I'm saying? Just sitting here talking to you, you got pieces of the puzzle that I don't have, and I got pieces of the puzzle that you don't have. We can start building a whole doggone puzzle. We can put a puzzle together. And you add more people. Next thing you know, that picture, that painting is amazing.
Yeah.
We can make a mosaic.
Yeah.
And so until we get to that point, though, we're always going to be bickering and fighting and arguing over resources and pocket watching and hating and worrying about this, worrying about that, because that's the program they instilled into us. We got to now override this DNA and this RNA programming code. We got to say, you know what? We got to talk to ourselves. You know what? I'm being a hater right now. I'm being a troll right now. I'm pocket watching right now. I'm being jealous right now. Why am I doing that? And analyze inside of ourselves. Why am I doing this? Why do I feel like this? And work on our internal self and learn how to not be that way. Learn how to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. Learn how to try to work with somebody. Learn how to ask better questions so you can understand better instead of getting angry. And you know, learn how to control your emotional state. And when we can do that and we can link up and we can make big power moves together, that's when the world's going to change. Every thought that you think creates a light wave that leaves your skull and goes. Now, we can't see the light because we only see 1% of the light spectrum. Every thought coming out of your brain right now, if I could see those light waves right now,
it'd be crazy.
All over the place. Right?
All over.
There's light coming out, there's lightning coming out of my head right now. You can't even see it because we only got less than 1% of the light spectrum. We can't see gamma rays, X-rays, infrared, you know, ultraviolet, and so forth and so on. But these light waves, they go out, but what's on the light? It's encoded with information. Just like your cell phone. Cell phone right now is connected by light. Microwaves are light waves, waves of light. My cell phone is sitting here right now connected to a tower via a light beam that you can't see. And what's on the beam of light? Data. Same thing with your brain. This is a fractal of our human consciousness. It's sending out information. Every thought you've ever thought since you had a first thought is going out into space-time. It exists on the grid. So sometimes you're walking around and you get an idea, something comes to you. It's not that you originated the idea. A lot of times, it's that you've downloaded the information. Scientists discovered that our brains can our thoughts, our synapses can quantum entangle with other thoughts that exist in space-time. Yeah. Now it's real science. And you can get that information if you can discern it and understand what that just was. And then the next step is, can you act on it? So my ability or my superpower has been the ability to be able to get those epiphanies and recognize that I just got an information from a source, from the source out here, from the Akashic Records, or whatever you want to call it. Now, what do I do with it? Is it something that I can utilize in what I'm trying to accomplish as my mission here on Earth? And I go and I dig into it, I research it, I study it, and then I present it and bring it to the people. A lot of the times, information that I get like that, it gives me something new to talk about because it wasn't even on my mind until it came to me. And then I looked it up and it's real. And I go, oh my God, this is real. And now I'm putting it out. So that's, you know, something that I've been able to, you know, I guess you want to say maximize that ability that I've had to get information. So when we say things like your program code and you're operating off your code, it's actually a true scientific statement. 1 gram of DNA can hold 433 petabytes of data. There was one scientist, George Church, replicated his ebook 80 billion times and downloaded it onto 1 gram of DNA, which is one drop on the tip of your finger.
80 billion.
80 billion. What he did was he realized that DNA stored information. He was like, wow, our body is full of data. The whole human body is full of data. Billions and billions and billions of petabytes of data. And what he said was, he realized you can take data from a server, a computer, and convert it from zeros and ones into A's, C's, T's, and G's, which is what your DNA reads. And then you can actually download the data into the DNA and store data in a volume instead of storing it linear, like time, 1 arrow. But when you can store it in a volume, you can store much more information. So then he replicated it 80 billion times, and then he transferred it from DNA, from A's, C's, T's, and G's back into zeros and ones and uploaded it back into a computer. So he recognized that DNA is also a server. He's like, man, this is incredible. So we have this ability in us to move data and information.